Hello everybody, here I am back with a brand new, useless, pointless video that you have not seen 5000 times already. With the Xbox digital press conference happening a few days ago and the PlayStation digital conference happening a few weeks ago, there is still one question that is left unanswered. And that is, which platform is the best gaming platform? Spoiler alert, it's PC. Seriously, it's just PC for many reasons, but it is just PC. But before we jump into the topic, I'll do the standard that YouTube expects from me. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to click the like button, and if you don't, the dislike button is right next to it. If you want more useless videos like this, you can subscribe to my channel. I play boring games and do boring useless videos. And that is that, let's jump right into the topic. Which platform is the best gaming platform? Hint hint, it's PC. But if we exclude the PC and if we have to pick one of the two next-gen consoles, which one is a better investment? The answer is simple, it's PlayStation 5. There is not even a competition. It is PlayStation 5. And to prove that, we're going to make a very simple comparison between the two conferences, and we're going to see what each company is offering us as games for our brand spanking new consoles that we cannot yet purchase, but we will be able to soon. So, let's start with the common thread between both of them, and this is cars. Both companies have a car game, and that's about it. PlayStation have its Gran Turismo and Xbox have its Forza franchise. That's about all there is to it. The difference is the PlayStation at least show us a little bit of gameplay, and this is going to be again a common thread between the two conferences. Because PlayStation showed gameplay almost of every game they have shown, while the Xbox just pushed on the pre-rendered trailer side of things. So the cars is about the only common thread the two companies have in their press conferences. And apart from that, they couldn't be more different conferences. Look at Ratchet Clank, for example. This is the big Sony franchise that I want to pay attention to. This game looks specifically designed to showcase the selling point of the PlayStation 5, the new technologies, the super fast SSD. It's just an NVMe drive that is running on PCI Express Gen 4. It's much faster than Gen 3, but the game looks designed specifically to utilize the speed because of all the levels loading and all the teleportation from place to place and from planet to planet and so on and so forth. But here's the deal, the hardware was never the selling point of the consoles, at least for me, and it really shouldn't be for you as well, because the hardware is not the important part. Look at the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One. At the moment, the current generation Xbox One, because there was refresh, so the current Xbox One refresh is more powerful than the PS4 Pro. But what are the games running on it at the moment? Because the PS4 Pro has Ghost of Tsushima. People are getting crazy about this game. It looks good, they say it plays good, and everybody like it. There was this whole The Last of Us Part 2 thing that I won't even acknowledge because it's beyond stupid, but okay. I can guarantee people did buy a lot of PS4 consoles because of Bloodborne, and not because they can play Battlefield 4 on a slightly higher resolution than the Xbox One. You know, a good game like Bloodborne can actually sell a lot of consoles. While a game like Sunset Overdrive, well, I doubt that was the main selling point for a lot of people buying Xbox. And yet here we are again. And since the hardware is not that important, let's just look at the games. Sony gave us a new Spider-Man game. They gave us Ratchet Clank, they gave us that Project Athia thing that comes from Square Enix, so we're going to see it in about 10 years. They gave us a couple of independent Annapurna interactive games like Stray and Solar Ash. They gave us this Returnal thing that looks quite interesting, at least story-wise, because otherwise it's just 3D bullet hell shooter. But other than that, it looks really interesting, that thing. They're giving us Sackboy, they're giving us Destruction All-Stars. This thing done properly can be really huge, you know, considering how big games like Rocket League and Fortnite currently are. We have Kena, Bridge of Spirits, we have the Goodbye Volcano High thing, we have the Oddworld Soulstorm, we have the Ghostwire Tokyo, we have the Hitman 3 presentation, we have the Astral Playroom, we have the Little Devil Inside, a game that I cannot wait to play. I made a separate video for that specific little gorgeous game that you can watch over here somewhere. They shown us Bugsnax, they shown us Deathloop, they shown us Resident Evil 8, and they ended up on a high note with Horizon Forbidden West. Now the big one that I have intentionally skipped is Demon's Souls. A lot of people are going to buy PlayStation 5s just to play Demon's Souls. This is going to be a huge system seller. I don't care about Horizon and the other exclusives. If there is a game that is going to be a system seller for PlayStation, it's going to be Demon's Souls. It's going to sell so many copies. I mean, look at what Bloodborne did. On the other side of the coin, we have the Xbox presentation. Yay, we started with Halo Infinite. I'm going to say one thing about the gaming industry. For the last, let's say, decade or so, they have made a sci-fi space epic game like Halo looking generic, okay? This just looks like a generic sci-fi FPS. And it's Halo, it's just Halo. And thanks to the last 10 years of massively overcrowding the shooter genre, now this just looks like a generic sci-fi FPS. A lot of people seems to lost their mind over the facial animation of this game, and I don't really see it. I mean, it's not bad, but it's nothing spectacular. Especially when the very next game, State of Decay 3, had a much better face in its presentation. Aside from the facial animation, but at least it has much better looking face. So even that is not complimentary to Halo. And then the very next day, there was an admission that the Halo gameplay we have seen on the presentation is actually an unfinished build that is currently worked on, that is not even running on Xbox, it's running on a PC. They say comparable in power, but we have heard this thing before. At least, at the very least, run your games on your system that you're going to sell them on. Oh wait, you are. Halo is going to be on PC as well as Xbox. Well, that's one less reason to want to buy an Xbox. So yeah, a little Halo happened, then State of Decay 3 happened, which told us nothing about State of Decay 3, what is going to be, how it's going to play, absolutely nothing. We just had a pre-rendered trailer, then we had another pre-rendered trailer in Everwild. This thing looks like Breath of the Wild, it just looks like Zelda. Then there was the new game from Don't Nod, the French company behind Life is Strange and Remember Me, and not a lot of people remember Me. But they don't need to. Tell me why it seems to follow the steps of the Life is Strange franchise. Heavily cutscened, heavily story-based, you sit on your ass, you watch 30 hours of story, and every now and then you press a button. As you can probably tell, I'm not a big fan of those kind of games. Microsoft reminded us that Ori and the Will of Wisps is a thing, it still exists. And right after that, one of my very huge bugbears, we had an Obsidian section. Obsidian presented an expansion or a DLC to their Outer World game, but then they presented a game named Grounded. And this is going to sound silly, But Microsoft acquired one of the best, probably the best RPG story writing studios that can create amazing worlds and amazing stories and stuff like that, and they use them to create a crafting survival game. And I'm not even joking, this Grounded is crafting survival game. Does that remind you of something, you know, some Electronic Arts thing? You have one of the best minds in the business and you use them to create a crafting survival game. It's Obsidian, so I can bet my ass it's going to be a good game, but still, Jesus Christ, Microsoft, what are you doing? And then they followed that with a really weird, super generic medieval fantasy pre-rendered trailer about a game that showed us absolutely nothing and told us absolutely nothing, and some people seems to have losing their minds over it. And it's Obsidian, it's going to be great because Obsidian make good RPGs, so this is going to be a good RPG. The game is named Avowed, by the way, but if you have nothing to show, why do you even show this? It's like Bethesda when they showed The Elder Scrolls 6 and that Starfield trailers some years ago. We haven't heard anything since then. This is going to take few years since Obsidian is still making content for The Outer Worlds. And now they're releasing Grounded, so they're going to have to work on Grounded as well. This game is nowhere near ready to be shown. Why are you showing it to us? If you have nothing to show, don't show anything. I do not understand why is this here in this presentation at all. Next they gave us an artistic indie, kind of indie looking game named as Dusk Falls. It seems like static images with very basic background animation that tells a story. It's okay, it looks fine for the people who like to play those kind of story intensive games. Then they reminded us that Hellblade exists, you know? We're still making Hellblade 2, guys, don't forget about us. We are still a thing. And it's kinda sad when the presentation ends with for more information come to our YouTube channel, because this presentation is not worth giving any info, just jump to our YouTube channel. It's kinda sad. And the entire thing just gave no information about anything. Sony did that as well, they had a thing named Jet Far Shore, something like that, that gave us absolutely no information about anything. They just showed some imagery and yeah, that was that. But the Hellblade thing is even less effort than making a full trailer. They showed nothing. The Hellblade guys literally just showed up to say we still exist, we're still working on that game. The next game bothers me, okay? Psychonauts 2, and it bothers me because it's Tim Schafer working on it. Tim Schafer really have not had a great track record. Honestly, I doubt they will make Psychonauts 2 as great as it could possibly be. Because this is a game with endless opportunities. And the last time Tim Schafer and Double Fine had endless opportunities, they gave us broken face, I mean broken nose, I mean broken elbows, broken age. That is why I am very worried about this game. There are some trippy visuals and there are some weird stuff that they show us, but this is pretty much stuff that Persona games perfected by now. People going into other people's minds and sorting shit out. So I'm really worried about Psychonauts 2 and how it's going to come out. We followed with Destiny 2, a game that has been out for a few years now, and again we did the whole look at us, we still exist, come play us thingy. After that, there was a short cinematic pre-rendered trailer about the game that I personally am really excited about. Oh my god, I have been waiting for that game for so long. It's Stalker 2. I cannot put in words how excited I am for Stalker 2. This game, oh my god, this game. It looks good, it doesn't look overly polished, so my guess is most of those pre-rendered visuals are actually in-engine, you know, because the stuff didn't look overly polished. And I'm really happy with that, because they're not supposed to look polished. This is the post-apocalypse we're talking about. Anyways, I'm really happy to see Stalker 2 finally existing in the real world. Next up is another, I'm not going to say big disappointment, but I'm going to say disappointment. Do you remember Warhammer Vermintide? You know, the game that was like Left 4 Dead, but instead of the overused and massively tired topic of zombies, we have the medieval magic and medieval weaponry and fantasy setting. And it was good and it was interesting. Well, we're taking it all out just to be able to replace it with a FPS weaponry and guns. I don't know, for me they just made Vermintide with guns. This is pretty much what Darktide is, it's just Vermintide with guns. And the charm of Vermintide was that it didn't have guns. It had medieval weaponry and spells, and that was the good thing, the interesting thing, the thing that made it different. Darktide is going to be just another shooter. And by the look of the trailer, zombie shooter, because we can't have enough of those, I guess. Next up is Tetris. It's just Tetris, that's what it is. You can put as many spins on Tetris as you want, it's still Tetris. After Tetris we have a thing called The Gunk, that looks like Hob meeting Recore, so that's that. It looks fine. Then there is this horror game that looks, actually it looks really interesting. It's called The Medium. The game pretty much splits your screen and you play in two worlds at the same time. The possibilities for dual world, dual screen gameplay are endless. How much the developers are going to capitalize on those possibilities is completely different matter. Then we had Phantasy Star Online, and I don't know how big this game is, but I am not interested in Asian MMOs whatsoever. Then we had another shooter from Remedy called Crossfire X. Remedy are so determined to keep using time slowing mechanics that they use it in this shooter as well. My guess is it's going to be a single player, because I don't see how you can use time slowing mechanics in a multiplayer shooter without slowing the time for everyone.
We make our own path. We protect our own.
And then there was the ending. That was supposed to be a huge, you know, mic drop part. We're going to end in a strong note, guys. We're going to remake or reboot Fable. To be fair, I don't know anybody who is excited for a Fable reboot. Now, after all of this, I have one question to Microsoft. You own so many studios, where the hell is my Freelancer remake? I don't even need a remake, just remaster it. Yeah, just grab your own game that you made, grab it, polish it up, make it work on a modern hardware, and sell it to me. Where is my Freelancer remake? Nowhere to be seen. Well, now with that over, with all of that behind us already, I hope you have already noticed and realized why the PlayStation 5 is better than the Xbox Series X. If you have not, let me spell it out for you. All the Xbox games will be available on PC and the current generation consoles. So if I already own an Xbox console, I'm not going to throw it out the window just because I'm going to buy a new one. No, I'm going to keep it and keep playing my old huge library I have built for the last 5 or 6 years. Yeah? And I have absolutely no reason to buy the new generation of Xbox console if I can play the new games on my old console. And I have no reason to buy any generation of Xbox consoles if I can play them all on my PC. And this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to play every game that I want on my PC and not buy any of the Xbox consoles. I know this whole backwards compatibility and previous generation compatibility and PC release is more user-friendly than what PlayStation is doing, but I'm going to make the same argument again. I'm going to use the same argument again. I'm not going to throw my current generation consoles if I'm going to buy a new one. If I buy PlayStation 5, I'm going to keep playing my PlayStation 4 games on my PlayStation 4 that I have not thrown away. And I'm sorry, but if you do not give me any great games I can play on your console, I have no reason to buy your console. Yes, I know console exclusivity is a bad thing, but it is a huge selling point. I cannot play Demon's Souls on PC. I cannot play Demon's Souls on any other console. I want to play Demon's Souls, so I'm going to buy a PlayStation 5. I cannot play Horizon 2 on PC, so I'm going to have to buy a PlayStation 5. As far as I know, I won't be able to play Returnal on PC. So that's another selling point for PlayStation 5. On the other hand, Halo Infinite I can play on PC. Ori and the Will of Wisps I can already play on PC. Tell me why? It's on PC. Hellblade is going to come on PC. Grounded is already in beta on PC. Destiny 2 is free to play on PC. Do you get the point? Do I need to hammer it home? It's funny when I see people that say that they're going to support Xbox, they're going to buy a new Xbox. There is no reason. Xbox just doesn't care anymore, they don't want to give you a new console. If they're going to release the games on PC, more power to them, I'm fine with that. I'm going to buy the game on PC as long as the game is good. I mean, don't get me wrong, as soon as Stalker 2 is out, I'm buying Stalker 2. And I do not care if it's a PlayStation game or an Xbox game. I want to play Stalker 2, and if I can play it on PC, I'm going to buy it on PC. That's all there is to it. Now, if Stalker 2 was an Xbox exclusive, where I cannot play it on PC, well, then we have an argument to buy a console. Now I'm just going to buy it on PC, that's all there is to it. And I love the guys that just come out and said, those games are designed from the ground up to work on Xbox Series X. No, they're not. No, they're not. They're supposed to be working well on the Xbox One as well. So they are obviously not designed specifically for Xbox Series X. They are designed to work on everything. So in short, if you want to play the best games, just buy a decent PC. That would be that. You can play games from 30 years ago on your PC, no problem whatsoever. I can still play games from the 90s, and they still run just fine. Backwards compatibility, what? Yes, if you want to have a decent gaming platform, just buy a PC. You can always plug a controller and play great games on it. So, with that video in the books, I'm going to remind you to click the like button if you enjoyed this video, and if not, the dislike button is right next to it. For more bullshit like this, you can subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye bye!